Hello, my name is Danielle. I'm going to be your counselor for today. I just want to let you know that I want to develop a healthy and open relationship, and I really want to talk to you about any concerns that you have and work to help you develop different tools so that you can then begin solving your problems.
Okay, thank you. That sounds great. I'm Victoria.
Okay, and what brings you here today, Victoria?
I've just been feeling really stressed out lately with my schoolwork and my friends and my boyfriend. I have a lot going on and I start getting really nervous and it's been giving me panic attacks and overall really stressed out.
Okay, so you say you're very stressed, and then definitely what do you feel are one of your biggest stressors?
Definitely my grades, because I've always been a good student, but recently I've been struggling and I've been finding it really hard to do well and to get good grades, and that's just really hard for me to deal with.
Okay, and what do you think that you've been doing differently that's not as successful for you? Like, are you still studying? Like, how has your behavior changed?
Well, recently I've been less motivated,
Okay.
so I guess it's kind of me. I'm really hard on myself, and I stress myself out a lot more than I should. So I'll try to still study for tests, but I think I have like this thought that unless I get perfect grades and unless I'm perfect, then no one's gonna really like me, or I'm not gonna do well and succeed and be successful. So I've been really stressing out, and I've been losing the motivation to do well, and I've been losing the motivation to study because I feel like since I haven't been doing well, what's the point of even trying anymore?
Okay. So you mentioned that you're very hard on yourself. What are common thoughts that come into your mind when you are stressing or panicking? What do you tell yourself?
I'm usually lately I haven't been really feeling adequate enough.
Okay.
So I'll just tell myself that, you're not good enough, or you're not worthy enough to be in college and to be doing this, and that just kind of affects my studying habits.
Okay. Do you think that these are rational fears that you have, or rational thoughts that are in your mind, or do you think that you are being hard on yourself?
Well, I'm definitely being hard on myself, but I've never really thought about it that way. I mean, I guess I am being a little irrational sometimes, but I never really think about it like that.
Okay. Definitely one thing that I want to implement is when you are panicking or when you're being hard on yourself, I want you to be more aware of what causes these triggers, and to just kind of think of the situation as if it was a friend. So give me one of your friends' names.
Brittany?
Brittany. Okay, so if Brittany was stressing out about an exam, she was really hard on herself, but she really did prepare well, and it just didn't go as she expected. Would you tell her that she was inadequate, that she was not perfect, that you didn't love her anymore?
No, I definitely wouldn't. I would definitely be more supportive with her, and I would tell her it was just a test and that doesn't define her as a person.
Okay, so I want to definitely start making you more aware of how you talk to yourself, because I think having self-compassion for yourself is a huge thing. It can definitely start getting rid of those irrational fears or thoughts, and keep you from being so hard on yourself.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Even with my friends, I always get scared that if I have one slip up, they're going to stop being friends with me. And with my boyfriend, I get scared that if I'm not perfect around him, or if I don't always have makeup on, that he's going to, not want to be with me anymore.
Okay. So you talk about your boyfriend. Are there any ways that relationship has been affected by how you've been acting lately?
Well, recently he's been kind of pulling away from me,
Okay.
like being a little more distant. And I don't know if it's something I'm doing or if I'm just being irrational again, like you said, but I just feel like no matter what I do, I'm not doing it right, and I'm always doing something wrong with him, and I feel like I'm just never doing anything right.
Does he tell you this? Does he think that you're not being perfect or not bringing your best foot forward?
I think he definitely notices that I've been less motivated, and he's not afraid to show it.
Okay.
And that definitely makes it worse on me, makes it harder on me to have motivation to study and do well.
So what are his actions? What does he say or do to you?
Just like when we're hanging out, he'll be like, oh, well, you didn't do well on your test. That's your own fault.
Okay.
And it'll kind of make me feel like there's something I'm doing wrong.
Okay. So I really want to talk to you about the relationships that you have with your friends, with your boyfriend, and who do you deem as like really positive aspects in your life? Who can you turn to when you're having a bad day? Who's in your circle?
Well, out of my friends, I have a pretty good group of friends that for the most part are helpful, but I do have one friend who's a little negative, and she's always complaining and has something bad to say, and I feel like that's kind of been rubbing off on me because I've always been more positive, but recently I've been more stressed out, and I've noticed that I'm kind of mimicking her behaviors.
Okay. And what will she do? Like, can you give me an example of something that she would say? Like maybe with grades or anything of that nature?
Yeah, she'll just be like, if you don't get, just in general, she'll be like, if you don't get at least an 80 on a test, then you're stupid, or you're not good enough, you didn't do well enough, and it's your own fault, and she's just kind of judgmental, and it's hard to deal with.
Okay, so do you see that the way that she talks to you has kind of become your inner voice for yourself?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think when I hear her using those harsh words, I start using them on myself.
Okay.
And I think it's definitely hurting my motivation.
Okay. Well, one thing that I definitely think would be beneficial for you, and we can talk about it now or at a later time, but definitely just be open with her and realize that, this is a time, like, you've come to counseling to help yourself, to start healing, to make your life better. And I think you need to realize her role, or maybe her negative role in your relationship right now, and just try and limit, I guess, your reaction to the way that she says certain things, and just really think about, is she being a good friend? Is she being a healthy friend to me during this time? Because you don't need that in your life. As you said, you have a really great group of friends, and I think you should lean more towards them and reach out to them when you're in need versus being around a negative influence, because I think that's only hurting you right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I don't want to be so hard on myself, but sometimes I'm really harsh and negative about it, and it definitely plays a big toll on me. And I think even my friends can notice that, because they've been saying, like, why are you being so hard on yourself? And they've been pointing it out to me, but I can't get out of this stressful funk.
Okay, so one thing that I'm definitely hard on myself at times as well, one thing that really works for me is taking a journal. It can even just be a notebook in class, anything of that nature, and every time you feel like a negative thought is coming into your head, or you feel that someone's been putting you down, anything like that, you should write that down. So say, okay, I'm anxious about this test. Then in the next column, you can say, okay, why am I feeling this way? What words am I using to punish myself? What do I feel like I could have done better? And then you can even talk to me, talk to your friends, and really just get an outside opinion of if these are rational beliefs or if you are being really hard on yourself. And I think writing these down will make you more aware of what causes them, in what instances do they flare up. And that way you can start changing the way that you react to certain things and really realizing what you should change and what you should just keep. And I really want to start integrating positive self-talk into your behavior. So another thing I really like to do is make a gratitude list. So if you're having a bad day and you're panicking, I want you to stop what you're doing and write down 3 things that you're grateful for. It can even be like, now it's kind of cold out, so I'm really grateful that I have a jacket. I'm really glad that I have friends that I can count on. I'm really glad that I have this pie to eat, or just anything of that nature that can kind of ground you and bring you back to what is the present moment. Because with anxiety, that's all about worrying about things in the past or things that will happen. And I think really centering you in the present will definitely help.
I think that's a really good idea. I like the first thing too, because there are definitely triggers that affect me, and that I notice I'll be fine and having a good day, and then something will happen and it'll set me off, and I'll start being really harsh on myself and negative, and it'll make me stressed out, and then I'll have a panic attack.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good idea to realize what my triggers are.
Yes.
And I also like what you said about writing a gratitude list, because I think sometimes I don't realize, how lucky I am, and I might just be harsh on myself even though I have so many great things to be thankful for.
Good. That's perfect. So I think we covered a lot of ground today. And I definitely think that if you could bring in your journal, like start that even later today, and you can bring that in and you can really talk about consistent themes in your triggers, and then just start working towards giving you more tools to lead a more positive and present life.
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.